everybody, it's Amy Berger from doitnutrition.com coming to you from my hotel room in Nashville, Tennessee. Woohoo! I just came back from the gala dinner at the CASI conference, C-A-S-I. I think it's Clinical Applications of Scientific Innovations. Now, Designs for Health runs this conference, and Designs for Health is a company that I write for. My income is about 90% freelance writing in the health and nutrition space. And a lot of the writing I do is keto and low carb oriented, but not all of it. And the vast majority of my income comes from this company, Designs for Health. They are a supplement manufacturer, but I would say they are among the very, very top, most respected companies in this industry. These are the products I use myself. And I use them myself because, I write for them. And in the course of writing for them, I do a lot of research. I'm on PubMed all the time. I'm looking at some of the clinical trials that are used in some of the nutrients and botanicals and whatever stuff is in their products. So anyway, the long story short, some people in the keto world are very anti-supplement, very anti-anything that isn't beef or anti-anything that isn't organic broccoli. I am not one of those people, right? So anyway, forgive the, rudimentariness or the crudeness of this video. You know me, I'm like a technological dinosaur. So the fact that I'm recording it all, it's like 11 o'clock and I have to leave in like 9 hours and get on an airplane. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I was invited to this conference to give a talk about keto. And I specifically spoke about ketogenic diets for neurological and neurodegenerative disorders. And so some of you may know I am the author of the book, The Alzheimer's Antidote. You can find that on Amazon. And my talk, though, I've given many talks at various low-carb and keto-oriented events that are specifically about Alzheimer's disease. I've kind of become known as like the keto Alzheimer's person, for better or worse. This talk was expanded not just into Alzheimer's, but into Parkinson's disease, MS, multiple sclerosis, ALS, and Huntington's disease, kind of talking about the rationale and the scientific underpinnings of why somebody might want to use a ketogenic diet or some other ketogenic strategy like MCT oil or exogenous ketones for some type of neurological or neurodegenerative disorder. And the talk was very, very well received. Lots of really positive feedback. Assuming people weren't lying to me and weren't just trying to be nice, assuming they were actually just really enjoyed the talk. And it was really great because this is very much a functional medicine audience. Pretty much everyone in the audience was either an MD, so like a medical doctor, or a chiropractor, a naturopath, an osteopath, a dietitian, some type of nutritionist. You have to have a nurse practitioner, physician assistant. You have to have some type of medical or nutrition, actual legitimate credential or license to be here, I guess you could say. And, and spouses and whoever else these people chose to bring. But anyway, the point is, this is more of a functional medicine conference than it is a keto or low carb event. And the vast majority of events I've ever been invited to speak at are keto and low carb events. So I'm almost always preaching to the choir. So I gave my talk yesterday, and it was really nice to bring this critically important information to a new audience. And it was definitely a receptive audience. I mean, none of these people were like, what? You're telling people to eat butter? What? You're telling people to eat fat? Definitely not. It was definitely a receptive audience. This is definitely a crowd that understands that, maybe we don't need to be eating all that grain and all that sugar all the time. That being said, the reason I wanted to do this quick little recap is because we have so much more to do, so much more educating to do. There were a lot of questions about fiber, about the gut biome, and about our old friend LDL, the old friend low density lipoprotein. Guess what? I went on keto. My blood sugar got better. My insulin got better. I lost 40 pounds. My rheumatoid arthritis went away. My skin cleared up. My joint pain went away. My acid reflux went away. But my goes higher. Oh no, what do I do? Maybe nothing. I'm not saying nothing. We have a lot of education to do. And, but really lots of good questions. I mean, they're right. People that are relatively new to these concepts are right to question, what about fiber? But of course, you and I know a ketogenic diet doesn't have to be low in fiber. The definition of a ketogenic diet is that it's very, very low in carbohydrate. I would say myself, and I know a lot of other people, when we go keto or go low carb, we actually sometimes end up eating more fiber than previously, because when you cut out the bagels and the pasta and the rice and the cereal and the granola, you replace it with things that are higher in fiber, right? When you're not eating all that grain and all that starch and sugar, and you eat more broccoli, Brussels sprouts, almonds, kale, pecans, eggplant, zucchini, whatever. These foods are not without fiber, if fiber is even all that important. I sat through a talk about the gut biome, and it was a very, very intelligent man with decades of clinical experience giving this talk, like actually a mentor of mine, who I am just, what can I say? I paid attention because I feel like this is someone who deserves my attention. This is someone who I should pay attention to. And yet I also found myself questioning, like, I don't know about all this gut biome stuff and all this fiber stuff. Why is it that so many people who go on a ketogenic or very low carb diet have massive improvements in all kinds of seemingly intractable, very difficult to treat conditions with zero specific attention to the gut biome? No specific probiotics, no specific prebiotic fiber, no resistant starch, no specific gut healing protocol whatsoever. They just go on a very low carb diet, and the gut kind of takes care of itself. And I'm not saying that always happens. And I'm looking at myself right now. Look at these crazy bags under my eyes. I haven't been sleeping very much, and my makeup is mostly gone. I assure you, I looked way better at the start of this evening. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to report from this conference, or from my hotel room after the conference, that the talk was definitely well received. This audience was very receptive to the ketogenic message and the mechanisms as to why a ketogenic strategy makes mechanistic sense for things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and other neurodegenerative conditions. And, I was very clear in my talk, not that this is a silver bullet, a magical cure. It is not. But mechanistically, biochemically, physiologically, it makes sense that this is worth trying, especially because most of these conditions have no effective other treatments. The drugs for these conditions suck. If they work at all, they work maybe at first and they lose efficacy over time. This is especially true of Parkinson's drugs, or the drugs come with side effects that are almost worse than the actual condition. Again, using Parkinson's as an example, because of the dopaminergic neuron connection with Parkinson's, some of the Parkinson's medications come with increased risk for compulsive gambling. Like, are you kidding me? This is the trade-off we're asking people to make. Like, in order to improve your Parkinson's symptoms, now you might lose your freaking life savings in Las Vegas or Atlantic City because you're compulsive gambling because of the dopamine system. This is madness. Maybe, just maybe, there is some type of potential beneficial role for keto. But anyway, I'm getting way far afield. I wanted this video to be like 5 minutes. It's more than 9 minutes now. Big shock. Amy Berger made a long video. What a damn shock. We have a lot of education to do. And so really it was nice to be among a friendly audience, but a new audience. But we have so much more teaching to do, because I also, other than the LDL, there were a lot of, remember, these are medical professionals in the audience, lots of questions about saturated fat for people with that ApoE4 gene, specifically with Alzheimer's. Now, those of you that are kind of new to my channel or new to me, again, my book is called The Alzheimer's Antidote. You can find it on Amazon, but I will do videos at some point, maybe, hopefully within the next month or so. I will put on my YouTube channel the videos that I've done previously at low carb conferences talking about Alzheimer's. I will also do this video, a video of the talk I just gave here, including Parkinson's, including MS, but I have to lay the groundwork first with the Alzheimer's video. So anyway, what else do I want to say about that? Just that this is kind of, I've kind of built my reputation on this, which is like a little weird for me because my personal interest is much more in the obesity, type 2 diabetes, PCOS, hyperinsulinemia kind of thing. But I just happen to have learned a bit about Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, ALS, the sort of neurodegenerative disorders and how they are related to hyperinsulinemia, cellular metabolic dysfunction, whatever you want to call it. So I will have those videos on my channel at some point. Because when I talk about like that ApoE4 gene, that has very close ties to the Alzheimer's stuff that I've put out in the past. And so just, still concerns about saturated fat, concerns about LDL, concerns about E4, concerns about, I'm trying to even think what, not so much plant-based. I mean, very few people in the audience here, I think at this conference, are plant-based people. Most of them understand that the human body really does require some amount of animal nutrition at a bare minimum. So, just really interesting to be at an event where there's very intelligent, well-meaning medical and nutrition professionals who are maybe relatively new to keto. Oh, I knew what I meant to say. So very many questions about macros and calories and percentages. And I did a breakout session. I was very fortunate that not only did I do my main talk on the neurodegenerative disorders, but I was actually invited to do a breakout session where we could look a little more closely at case studies. And then Keto AMA, Ask Me Anything. And I didn't even get through half of my slides with the case studies because there were so many questions. People just preferred to ask questions, which I preferred to do too. At the beginning of the breakout session, I said, listen, I've prepared slides. We can look a little more closely at case studies of people using ketogenic diets or MCT oil or exogenous ketones for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and MS, or I would so much prefer to spend this hour answering your questions. Anything about keto, just ask. And that's kind of what happened. Lots of questions. Amy, what do you tell your clients about macros? What percentages do you aim for? And I had to be like, no. I don't talk about any of that. I actively discourage people from weighing and measuring and doing the math and the macros and the calories and the percentages and blah, 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 because food is awesome, keto is awesome, and the very beauty of the very low carb way of eating is that when you do it properly, you don't have to track. You don't have to weigh and measure your food. You don't have to turn dinner into a high school calculus homework assignment. You don't have to figure out your percentages. The ketogenic diet, and I've said this in previous videos, the ketogenic diet does not work through magical percentages or magical ratios or magical macros. It works through a very, very low carbohydrate intake, which brings your blood sugar down and brings your insulin down. And when those things are down, you fuel your metabolism much more with fat. And by fueling your metabolism much more with fat, you produce ketones. And people say, what ketone level do you aim for when you have your people measure ketones? And I said again, I actively discourage people from measuring ketones because everybody freaks out. Why are my ketones only 0.2? Why are my ketones only 0. Blah, blah, blah. Again, doesn't work through ketones. I mean, it works through the mechanism by which ketones are produced, but having more ketones doesn't mean you will lose more weight or you will lose weight faster or you will have some other better clinical outcome. There may be some medical conditions or some issues that do respond better to a certain threshold of ketones. Most of them really don't. Most of them respond to the normalization of the high blood sugar and the high insulin. When you bring those things down, really good things happen, whether or not your ketones are at any particular level. So I really had to set the record straight with some of these people. But what a fortunate and welcome thing to have the opportunity to do that, to be able to talk to medical and nutrition professionals that are relatively new to this and really kind of hammer home the point with them that this doesn't work through the ratios. Don't drive your clients and patients crazy trying to devise their meal plan over, okay, what is my 15% or my 25% protein? What is my 80% fat, my 70% fat? It doesn't work that way, my dear friends and viewers. And I apologize for these ridiculous bags under my eyes again. And the phone, I'm holding my phone with my left hand, so I know it's a little shaky. But I think you guys like this sort of real world, off the cuff, no notes. I'm not in my dining room with that white wall behind me. So, just kind of a recap of the CASI conference. I learned a lot. I got to meet some people that I have corresponded with online, colleagues of mine, work colleagues, because I work from a distance, that I got to meet in person for the first time, and to hear some people that are way smarter than me present. And I don't know, good stuff. It was really kind of equally a treat and equally terrifying that I was the only person at this entire event giving a ketogenic oriented talk. The other talks were, very, like I heard a talk on CBD, the cannabidiol, the non-psychoactive phytochemical in cannabis that's like pain relieving, anti-anxiety. So I learned a lot about that, which could be really helpful for some of you potentially. Some stuff on the gut biome, which not so sure about the gut biome, but really interesting stuff on tocotrienols, which is one particular fraction of vitamin E, not the tocopherols that we're used to hearing about. What else? Just lots of really, really interesting stuff. And I feel so privileged to have been able to carry the torch for keto and really kind of a big weight on my shoulders to feel like I'm the voice of keto at this whole conference. I'm the keto person. I am the keto expert here, for lack of a better word, or just the person that is representing the incredible, powerful, therapeutic, life-saving, life-changing potential of this way of eating. I don't take that lightly. That's a task to be the one bringing this message. I'm not Stephen Finney. I'm not Jeff Volek. I'm not Eric Westman. I'm not Jackie Eberstein. I'm not Dominic D'Agostino. I'm not Colin Champ. I'm not Thomas Seyfried. I'm Amy Berger, a freaking blogger, for God's sake, at the conference, talking about keto. So that's my imposter syndrome talking. And I know I have imposter syndrome, the person who kind of knows something about something, but I feel like I know absolutely nothing. So I've rambled for almost 19 minutes. I'm going to shut up now. I will bring you, if you haven't read my latest blog post, because I know many of you just watch my videos and you don't actually read my blog, I did my latest blog post on insulin and the skin. So if you enjoyed my videos on insulin and PCOS and men's health, the male pattern baldness, the benign prostate, the enlarged prostate gland, or the erectile dysfunction, my latest blog post right now, 2itnutrition.com, is on insulin and the skin. Is chronically high insulin messing with your skin? Yeah, probably. If you have acne, psoriasis, skin tags, hidradenitis suppurativa, possibly even eczema, rosacea, acanthosis nigricans for sure. you probably have hyperinsulinemia, and insulin messes with the skin. So if you've got some skin stuff going on, read that post. It's really, really long. I will probably do a video about that sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's it. Coming to you from Nashville, the Music City, and I will see you again on my channel sometime. Again, 2itnutrition.com. You can email me if you have desperate, burning questions that you must have answered by me directly, because I have no staff. If you send me an email, I'm the only person that checks my email. It's not like I have 10 personal assistants. God willing, someday I can afford all that, and I would need all that. So my email is 2itnutrition@gmail.com. And I have to pack my bag because I got to get on a flight in like 9 hours. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye.